I literally cannot even function right now. Like, I am done.
Oh, I am completely done. My brain is fried.
I mean, I spend my entire day dealing with actual, literal pulling teeth emergencies.
Yeah.
Like impacted molars, malfunctioning drills, actual blood.
The real trauma.
Right. And yet the true trauma, like the absolute assault on my central nervous system today, was watching this Casa Amor recoupling.
Honestly, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. A truck driven by a 21-year-old reality TV contestant who doesn't know how to check their blind spots.
Literally.
The producers of Love Island UK need to open their checkbooks immediately because they are going to be paying for my therapy bills, my acupuncture, and like my impending stress-induced gray hairs for the next 6 months.
Oh, absolutely.
My spirit is broken. My faith in the emotional intelligence of the general public is just, it's in the negative digits at this point.
Babes, welcome back. We love you. We see you. And babes, we are so incredibly happy you're here with us in the trenches today.
So happy, but also so tired.
So tired.
Pour yourself a drink, Snark Squad, like a really heavy pour, because we have stories today. We have an absolute mountain of madness to unpack tonight.
A mountain. We are desperately clinging to our sanity right now, but we do have a life raft tonight, and it comes in a glass.
Yes, we do. Snark Squad, let me just tell you what we are holding right now. We are sipping on these incredible ice-cold raspberry gin spritzers.
They are single-handedly carrying the weight of this recording session.
Carrying it on their back. The tartness. The bubbles. It is exactly the kind of chaotic, fizzy energy we need to survive talking about these islanders.
It's the only thing keeping me from marching straight into the ocean and letting the tide take me, to be honest. The botanical kick of the gin just cuts right through the nonsense of the villa. I think we need to officially crown this the drink of the week.
Oh, consider it crowned, babes.
Yeah.
It's refreshing, it's pink, and it packs a punch that sneaks up on you.
Much like a Casa Amor bombshell. Exactly like a bombshell. Cheers to the spritzer, and cheers to you, Snark Squad, for surviving another week of absolute unmitigated nonsense.
Cheers. And honestly, we need the alcohol flowing because, well, the reality television landscape isn't the only place where pure, unfiltered chaos reigns supreme today.
Oh my gosh, don't even.
We need to talk about our actual work days for a second because I feel like I barely survived a literal war zone today.
I am so glad you brought this up. Snark Squad, just in case you're new here, when we are not sitting behind these microphones, diagnosing the severe delusions of conventionally attractive 20-somethings.
Which is a full-time job in itself.
It really is. But we are actually both full-time dentists. We work at 2 entirely different clinics, and the energy at our respective offices today could not have been more polar opposite.
It genuinely fascinates me. We have the exact same profession, you know, the exact same doctoral degrees, the same anatomical knowledge, and yet we operate in entirely different universes.
Literally different planets.
My clinic today felt like a psychological thriller mixed with, I don't know, a sitcom that got canceled after 3 episodes because the characters were just too abrasive.
I need the details immediately.
Yeah.
What was the absolute funniest moment of your day? Because I can hear the utter exhaustion in your voice.
Okay, so the funniest and perhaps the most absurd moment happened right at 9 in the morning.
Oh, starting early.
Right out of the gate. I had a new patient, a full-grown adult man, probably in his late 40s.
Okay.
He was a contractor, built like a brick wall, covered in traditional anchor and skull tattoos, like serious tough guy energy.
Oh, I know the exact type.
Yeah, so he sits in my chair, and before I even pick up a dental mirror, before the bib is even clipped around his neck, he violently grips the plastic armrests.
Oh, yeah.
He looks me dead in the eye with absolute terror and says, "If you find a cavity, I'm going to cry. I'm not kidding. I will weep in this chair."
Wait, be serious right now. A fully grown man.
A mortgage-paying, tax-filing, 401k contributing adult. And he was not being hyperbolic. His eyes were actually welling up.
Oh my God.
I had to spend 15 minutes using my most soothing, high-pitched kindergarten teacher voice to de-escalate this man's central nervous system just so I could do a routine visual exam.
That is so funny.
I was practically singing lullabies to him. And the kicker,
What?
he had pristine teeth. 0 cavities.
No way.
Yes. When I told him, he threw his hands in the air and cheered like his favorite football team just won the Super Bowl.
See, that is the joy of the job right there. It is hilarious, but it's also oddly sweet, you know?
I mean, it was exhausting.
Yeah.
But yes, sweet.
What about you?
Well, my funniest moment was also adult baby related, but a little more on the physical comedy side.
Okay, I love physical comedy.
I had a patient who had to get a pretty intense filling on her lower left mandible, so she was heavily, heavily numbed. You know the classic local anesthesia droop?
Oh, I am intimately familiar with the droop. Half the face just goes completely offline.
Exactly. Well, we finish up, I set the chair up, and she insists she feels completely normal. Like she's talking a mile a minute.
They always think they're fine.
Always. So she grabs the little paper cup of water to rinse, takes a massive confident sip, and the entire volume of water just waterfalls straight out of the numb side of her mouth.
Oh, no.
Completely soaking the collar of her silk blouse.
Yeah.
And she didn't even register it.
Not at all.
Not at all. The nerve block was so good she couldn't feel a thing, so she just kept talking to me about her vacation plans while a literal puddle formed in her lap.
That is incredible.
I was biting the inside of my cheek so hard to keep from laughing while I discreetly tossed her a stack of paper towels like, oops, minor spill.
The total lack of spatial awareness is incredible. It's honestly like watching a reality TV contestant try to navigate the consequences of their own actions.
Yeah.
Just completely oblivious to the massive mess they're making right down the front of their shirt.
So true. But surely your day wasn't all slapstick comedy. What was the most chaotic interaction? Because mine almost made me walk out the front door and never come back.
Oh, I have to hear yours first. Set the bar for the trauma.
Okay, well, mine was a logistical nightmare. I had a scheduling disaster that almost broke my receptionist.
Uh-oh.
A family of 4 walked in at 2 p.m. on the dot, completely confident that they had back-to-back exams booked.
Let me guess they did not.
Snark Squad, they were booked for next Thursday.
Oh, I hate that.
And when the front desk gently informed the dad of his mistake, he genuinely tried to negotiate reality. He leaned over the counter and said, well, we're already here. Can't you just squeeze 4 full comprehensive exams and cleanings in before your 3 p.m.?
The absolute unmitigated audacity.
What I know.
As if time, physics, and the linear progression of the universe are just casual suggestions that can be bent to his will.
Exactly. I had a waiting room full of actual on-time appointments staring daggers at him. It was absolute mayhem trying to de-escalate him and shuffle them out the door without triggering a 1-star Yelp review.
People are so unhinged.
But what was your chaotic moment? Because you said it was bad.
Oh, chaotic interaction of the day. A mother brings in her 15-year-old daughter. Standard checkup, right? But the second I lean the chair back, they proceed to have a full-blown screaming argument over the teenager's oral hygiene routine.
While they're in the chair.
While my hands are actively inside the teenager's mouth.
No.
Yes. The mom is standing by the sink yelling, tell her she needs to floss. She never flosses. And the teen is trying to scream back, I do floss. You never leave me alone.
But her mouth is open.
Exactly. Because I have a scaler and a suction tube in her mouth, it just sounds like aggressive guttural gargling, like art garble glorg.
Huh. I am unwell. The visual of the gargle screaming is too much.
I had to physically step back, cross my arms, and play UN peacekeeper. I am a medical professional, not a licensed family therapist.
That is so deeply uncomfortable. But, you know, despite the chaos and the scheduling nightmares, I actually had a massive soul-affirming win today.
Oh, I love a win. Please give me some serotonin.
I finally finished this massive, incredibly complex cosmetic case I've been working on for 6 months.
Oh, the veneer case.
Yes. A full upper arch of veneers for a woman who had severe trauma to her teeth when she was younger. Today was the final cementation.
How did it go?
When everything was polished and perfect, I handed her the mirror, and she just burst into happy tears. It completely transformed her face, not just physically, but her whole demeanor shifted. She told me she hasn't smiled showing her teeth in over a decade. She just couldn't stop beaming.
Okay, that is genuinely beautiful.
It was one of those moments that makes the entire grueling educational process feel completely worth it.
That is the kind of story they put in dental school brochures. I will admit my biggest win was slightly less emotionally profound, but from a purely clinical standpoint, it was highly satisfying.
Let's hear the clinical flex.
I had a patient with a notoriously stubborn, fully bony impacted wisdom tooth, the kind that usually shatters and ruins your entire afternoon.
Oh, the worst.
I managed to section it and extract it in under 20 minutes without breaking a single root tip.
Wow. Okay.
It was surgical perfection, the margins were clean, the tissue was intact. I felt like an absolute biomechanical god for approximately 5 minutes before my next patient yelled at me about their copay.
And see, that right there is exactly what I'm talking about. We have the exact same job, but our fundamental energies dictate entirely different experiences.
What do you mean?
You are out here channeling cold, calculating surgical precision, feeling the rush of a perfect, clean extraction. And I'm over here playing fairy godmother, handing out mirrors and wiping away happy tears.
It is the perfect metaphor for how we approach everything, including this podcast.
It really is.
You are entirely focused on the emotional journey, the glow-up, the second chances, and the heart of the matter. And I am focused on diagnosing the systemic decay, ripping out the problem at the root, and admiring the clean margins of a logical conclusion.
It's so true. It actually had me deep in thought during my commute today. Like, why do we even become dentists in the first place?
Right.
Like, what was the initial spark that made you choose this hyper-specific, stressful path instead of, I don't know, literally anything else?
If I'm being completely honest, I liked the certainty of the mechanics.
The mechanics.
Yes, dentistry is applied science. It's biomechanics. It's tactile. It's black and white. There is a tangible problem, a cavity, a fractured cusp, an abscess, and there is a tangible physical solution that I can execute with my hands.
That makes a lot of sense for you.
I go in, I fix the structural integrity, I eliminate the pain source, and the problem is solved. It's incredibly satisfying to a highly analytical brain. Plus, I appreciate the illusion of a structured schedule and not having to take my work home with me, mostly.
Mostly being the key word.
Right. What about you? Because I know your answer is going to make me sound like a robot.
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah.
For me, it was 100% about the confidence aspect. I remember having terrible teeth as a kid, getting braces as a teenager, and being so deeply insecure about my mouth that I would cover it with my hand every time I laughed.
A lot of kids do that.
Yeah, and the day those braces came off, my entire personality unlocked. I became outgoing, I became loud, I became confident. I realized at a very young age how much immense a psychological power a smile holds in how we interact with the world.
That is very true.
I genuinely wanted to be the person who facilitates that transformation for other people. When a patient walks into my clinic, hiding their mouth, staring at the floor, and walks out laughing with their head held high, that is the ultimate high for me.
It is very pure. You are very pure.
Thank you.
But we also have to balance that fairy tale narrative with a harsh dose of reality, because you know what completely dismantles even the most experienced, confident, I change lives dental professional?
Oh, a crying child.
A crying child. Literally nothing strips away your hard-earned professional dignity, your doctoral authority, and your general will to live faster than a 6-year-old having a full-blown thrashing meltdown in your chair.
I am getting stress sweats just thinking about it. You could have 10 years of advanced training, a wall full of framed degrees, and a mastery of facial anatomy. But one tiny human refusing to open their mouth will reduce you to a sweating, desperate amateur clown.
Oh, absolutely.
I had a kid once, keeping this totally anonymous, obviously, who decided that the high-volume suction tube was a monster.
Of course they did.
And I don't mean they thought it was scary. I mean they believed it was a sentient biological predator.
Oh, sweet oblivion.
Yes, they started shrieking at the top of their lungs, "Mr. Thirsty is trying to eat my tongue," and tried to physically wrestle the suction away from my poor dental assistant.
That is a nightmare.
I spent 20 minutes doing literal sleight-of-hand magic tricks with a cotton roll just to distract them enough to look at one single molar. It is the most humbling experience on earth.
Kids are absolute savages. They smell fear.
They really do.
I had a pediatric patient tell me, deadpan, that my blue scrub made me look like a giant, depressing blueberry.
Huh. A depressing blueberry.
Yes. And then, when I tried to gently place the little mirror in his mouth, he clamped his teeth down on the plastic handle like a pit bull and just stared at me, unblinking.
Oh my God.
Asserting pure primal dominance. I had to negotiate a hostage trade with a holographic dinosaur sticker just to get my own equipment back.
They really do keep us completely grounded. But, you know, having this whole introspective conversation today, reflecting on the screaming kids, the scheduling nightmares, the long hours hunched over, I kind of spiraled into this ridiculous late-night realization.
Oh, do tell. I love a spiral.
Despite genuinely loving dentistry and loving the impact we make, I kind of wish I was famous.
Huh. You know, I deeply respect the vulnerability because, same.
Right.
We chose the honorable, difficult, highly educated, student debt-inducing route. But sometimes when I'm up to my elbows in another human being's saliva at 4:30 on a Friday, I stare at the ceiling and think, I could have just been an influencer.
Literally.
I could be doing fit checks and selling detox tea from a hotel balcony in Dubai right now.
Yeah. Exactly. We chose dental school over reality TV. And sometimes I wonder what would happen if we swapped timelines. Like, what would you actually want to be famous for if you had the choice?
Oh, I wouldn't want to be famous for a specific talent, like singing or acting. That requires constant upkeep and public scrutiny of your skills.
So what's then?
I would want to be famous purely for having exceptional, polarizing opinions, like a Simon Cowell figure, but for something incredibly niche and low stakes.
Oh my God.
Just sitting in a velvet chair, judging things ruthlessly, giving scathing feedback, and getting paid millions for it. Could we survive reality TV, though? That's the real test of a modern celebrity.
I genuinely think I could. I think I would thrive. I would be the ultimate fan favorite.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'd be the girl baking cookies for everyone in the villa, giving heartfelt advice on the daybeds, mediating the stupid fights, and crying empathetically when people got dumped. The audience would love me. I get the sweetheart edit.
Oh, you absolutely would. You'd be the sweetheart who gets a tragic, unwarranted heartbreak edit right before the finale, and the entire internet would mobilize to defend your honor.
I would.
You'd have brand deals lined up before your plane even landed. Me, on the other hand, I would absolutely, unequivocally accidentally become the villain.
Accidentally. I don't know if it would be an accident with you.
It would be, because my facial features physically lack the capacity to hide my judgment. I don't have a poker face. I have a billboard.
That is very true.
The second some 21-year-old boy started giving a fake rehearsed apology or spewing some absolute nonsense about needing to explore his connections to realize what he has at home, I would roll my eyes so hard I'd detach a retina. And it would be caught on every single 4K night vision camera. The producers would edit me with the sinister background music to look like a sociopath, but the cynical energy Reddit girlies would secretly idolize me for refusing to play the game. I'd be canceled by the public vote in week 3.
You would absolutely be the one starting drama just because you were bored on a Tuesday afternoon. Like, hey, Priya, did you know Jordan told 3 different people he's not attracted to you? Just thought you should have all the data. Anyway, pass the tanning oil.
I would view it as a public service. I wouldn't even mean to be malicious. I'd just be stating peer-reviewed facts.
Oh my gosh.
But alas, we are dentists, which means instead of securing fast fashion brand deals, we are merely securing our dinner plans. Speaking of which, what are our ambitions post-recording? Because thinking about the villa has made me ravenous.
Oh, the ultimate millennial debate. Are we putting on an apron and cooking, or are we immediately surrendering to exhaustion and ordering takeout?
You already know the answer to this. We are medical professionals who just worked 10-hour shifts, survived pediatric hostage situations, and are now emotionally regulating the behavior of reality TV stars. We are absolutely not cooking. The stove in my kitchen is purely an aesthetic installation tonight.
I am craving something so incredibly comforting and terrible for my macronutrients. Like the ultimate post-work comfort meal. I'm visualizing massive bowls of pasta, carbs layered on top of carbs, maybe an entire loaf of garlic bread dedicated just to me.
See, my brain is leaning towards aggressive, spicy takeout, like a mountain of drunken noodles, or maybe an excessive, irresponsible amount of sushi.
Ooh, sushi sounds good.
Something that arrives in a plastic bag, requires 0 utensils, and that I can eat horizontally while lying on my couch. That is the zenith of comfort.
We will wage war over the restaurant choice the second we turn these microphones off. But babes, enough about our own chaotic lives and dinner cravings. Let's pivot.
Please.
Let's head back into the villa, where somehow, miraculously, these people are making even worse decisions than we do.
And that is a monumental statement, because the decisions executed in episode 31, horrendous, absolute diabolical, a masterclass in self-sabotage.
While you and I were dealing with the real-world stress of angry patients, the girls in the main villa were dealing with a highly concentrated manufactured stress experiment designed by the producers.
The secret selfies.
Yes. Let's talk about the pre-recoupling anxiety, specifically the fly-out from the secret selfie challenge.
We have to give a standing ovation to the producer who pitched this idea. It was psychological warfare at its finest.
It was so mean.
Handing the OG girls Polaroids of their boys looking just a little too comfortable, a little too close with the Casa Amor girls. It wasn't dropping a match in a fireworks factory. It was locking the doors and watching the explosion.
It really was brutal. The state of the girls in the main villa was just pure vibrating anxiety. I want to start with Jasmine because my optimistic energy heart was truly aching for her.
Oh, here we go.
She receives this grainy photo that makes it look like Kavan is kissing Charleen, and she just completely breaks down. When she was sitting there on the daybed, sobbing, and she just whispered, "I need my sister." I felt that in my marrow.
Did you really?
Yes. Sometimes you don't want a reality TV friend, you don't want a producer, you just want your sister to tell you it's going to be okay.
Okay, stop right there. Halt the empathy train.
This is where our worldviews wildly diverge, because my well of sympathy is completely bone dry when it comes to Jasmine in this specific scenario.
How can you say that? She was hyperventilating.
She was hyperventilating over a narrative she was actively trying to construct. Let me upgrade my metaphors for a second. Jasmine crying over Kavan right now is like a chess player bursting into tears because they lost a pawn. A pawn they were actively, intentionally sacrificing in order to take the opponent's queen.
Oh, pawn.
She is not mourning the deep, soulful connection with Kavan. She is mourning the loss of narrative control.
That is so cynical. She clearly still had lingering feelings for him.
Did she? Or did she have a bruised ego because he beat her to the punch? Let's analyze the timeline objectively.
Yeah, let's hear the timeline.
They were on a break they mutually agreed upon because the dynamic was tense. But more importantly, Jasmine has spent the last 48 hours actively, meticulously scheming to bring Jordan back to the main house.
Well, she was keeping her options open.
She has been plotting her Casa Amor exit strategy with the ruthless precision of a military general, telling anyone who will listen that Jordan is her type to a T. So why, when faced with evidence that Kavan is also exploring his options, is she suddenly playing the devastated, loyal widow?
Because seeing a photographic representation of the guy you were coupled up with, even if things were on the rocks, kissing someone else is fundamentally jarring. It bypasses logic and hits your insecurities. She even explicitly said to Ma that she viewed Casa Amor as the ultimate time for Kavan to prove his character to her. She wanted him to pass the test of temptation. She wanted to know he cared enough to hold back.
But why is the burden of proof solely on him when they agreed to take a step back? As Valerie pointed out in her phenomenal YouTube review of the episode, Kavan communicated that he wanted to take an emotional step back.
I know.
They agreed to see where things go. He was exploring his options, operating exactly within the parameters they established. Jasmine is just furious that he found a viable option before she could fully lock down Jordan. It's about winning the breakup, not about preserving the romance.
I hear your analytical energy logic, but I still feel for her emotional reaction in that moment. And honestly, looking at the wider shot of all the girls on the daybeds, you could see how tense the entire ecosystem was. They were all rallying around her, holding her, trying to be a support system.
Support system, please. I watched those interactions very closely, and it felt incredibly performative.
You think everything is performative?
Because it is. It wasn't genuine camaraderie. It was the oppression Olympics. Everyone was competing to see who could be the most outraged on Jasmine's behalf to secure their own screen time.
I don't know about that.
As a brilliantly observant user on Reddit noted, it felt exactly like the fake solidarity we saw in Season 7 of Love Island USA. One girl says, "I'm angry," and the next girl immediately has to one-up her with, "Well, I'm absolutely fuming," and the next is like, "Well, I'm vibrating with pure rage."
Okay, that part is a little true.
It creates this toxic echo chamber where no one is actually analyzing the situation logically. They're just feeding off each other's hysteria.
I think when you are trapped in a villa with no outside contact, your emotions just amplify. They were trying to hype each other up to mask how powerless they felt. But speaking of girls who were spiraling out of control, we have to talk about Priya.
Oh, Priya.
Because Priya's strategy right now is not just confusing, it is deeply concerning.
Priya is treating this romantic reality show like she is a mid-level corporate manager trying to secure a promotion to regional director, and it is exhausting to witness.
It really is.
She is so hyper-focused on managing the optics of her decisions and seeking validation from the popular girls, specifically Jasmine and Ma, that she is completely ignoring the fundamental premise of the show, finding a genuine romantic connection.
It is so painfully true. Sarah Destiny made such an incisive point in her review. She basically theorized that Priya is acutely aware she isn't a public fan favorite.
Right, she was in the bottom 3.
She was on the bottom 3 during the last audience vote. So her survival mechanism is to desperately try and appease the villa hierarchy. She's seeking the protective validation of the popular jingos, as Sarah called them. She wants to be part of the cool clique to ensure her safety.
Exactly. She is applying organizational psychology to a dating show. She is willingly, knowingly walking straight into a massive, messy love triangle purely for the sake of securing a storyline and keeping the alpha females happy.
It's so backwards.
Have you noticed how she speaks? She sounds like a human resources representative. "I just want to let you know my options are still with you." She talks in these sterile, PR-approved, non-committal sentences to mediate conflicts that she is actively inciting. It's bizarre behavior.
And the absolute tragedy of it all is that she's trying to weigh her options between Carlos, who actually seems genuinely interested in her and treats her well, and Jordan, when every single viewer at home knows that Jordan's ultimate endgame is Jasmine.
We all know it.
Jordan has explicitly told Carlos, and he has explicitly told Jasmine, that he is not physically attracted to Priya.
He said it twice, out loud, on camera. I am not attracted to her. Those were his exact words.
So brutal.
Yet when he pulls Priya for a chat, he gives her just enough corporate steak breadcrumbs to keep her on the hook. And Priya, lacking any discernible romantic intuition, just eats them up. She is fumbling a secure bag for the sake of a high-risk plot, and it is agonizing to watch her self-immolate.
The pre-recoupling anxiety was palpable. The girls were a mess. But then the sun sets, Maya Jama arrives, and the producers decide to elevate the psychological torture to a level we haven't seen before.
Oh, this was brilliant.
Let's talk about the cruelest format twist in Love Island history and the couples who actually managed to survive it.
The solo walk torture. I want to personally shake the hand of the producer who conceptualized this. It was deliciously evil.
For the Snark Squad, who might not grasp how different this was. Normally, the host says, let's see who they decided to couple up with. The music swells, and the guy walks around the corner. If he's walking alone, the tension breaks instantly. You know he's stuck.
Right.
If he's holding a new girl's hand, the tension breaks.
Yeah.
You know, he twisted. The reveal is immediate. But not this time.
No, this time they fundamentally altered the mechanics of the reveal. They made every single boy walk out from the Casa Amor villa completely alone.
Just alone.
They had to walk down the path, stand in front of the fire pit, and just pause for 5 excruciating silent seconds while the OG girl stares at them, heart pounding out of her chest, waiting to hear if a second set of footsteps or the click of high heels is coming down the decking behind him.
It was devastating. Why is that so much worse than seeing them walk out together?
Because silence creates an information vacuum, and the human brain is hardwired to immediately fill that vacuum with the absolute worst-case scenario. The producers aren't just delaying a visual reveal, they are weaponizing the Islanders' own deep-seated insecurities against them.
Oh, totally.
In those 5 seconds of silence, every single doubt those girls ever had about themselves or their partners flashes before their eyes. It is brilliant television, but horrible for their nervous systems.
It's heightened the tension to an unbearable degree. And can we take a moment of profound silence for Maya Jama? Because she entered that villa to officiate this psychological warfare looking like an absolute deity.
The styling team deserves an Emmy. She walked in wearing a structured corset dress with exaggerated hip pads. She floored every single person in that villa.
Oh my gosh, she really did.
Reddit was collectively losing its mind. The comments were just a stream of, how does human anatomy look like that? She strutted in there to orchestrate the ruin of these young people's lives and looked phenomenally unbothered doing it.
She is the perfect host. So Maya kicks off the recoupling, and the very first person on the chopping block is Priya. And this is where her corporate strategy officially implodes.
Implodes completely.
Priya stands up and delivers this highly rehearsed, HR-friendly speech about trusting her gut, analyzing the data, and choosing someone who is a good fit in the villa. And to the shock of Carlos, she chooses Jordan.
Rejecting Carlos, who, let the record show, looked visibly, physically gutted. You could see his posture completely deflate.
He looked so sad.
He genuinely thought he had secured his place, and Priya just coldly dismissed him. And why? Because she wanted to play a high-stakes game of social chess.
I couldn't believe it. Even Maya Jama, who usually maintains strict neutrality, looked highly skeptical. She literally asked Priya if she was ready for the chaos of more triangles.
In Priya's response.
Her response was so aggressively dismissive, just shrugging it off like, well, if it's going to be, it's going to be. Snark Squad, you are the one forcing it to be.
Yeah.
The triangle does not exist without your active participation.
It was the ultimate rookie mistake. Game theory dictates you don't make a move unless you have leverage. Priya has 0 leverage. She knows Jordan wants Jasmine. Jasmine knows Jordan wants Jasmine. Jordan knows Jordan wants Jasmine.
Literally everyone knows.
Priya is the only person in the tri-state area pretending this is a mutually beneficial romantic connection. She secured her ticket home. It's just a matter of what day the producers book the flight.
It was a rough start, but we did have some clear winners in this recoupling, specifically Jasmine and Lorenzo. I have to say, my optimistic heart was thrilled for them. They navigated the chaos perfectly.
Jasmine is quickly becoming an icon of unbothered, chaotic good energy. She stood up, completely calm, heart rate probably resting at a cool 60 beats per minute, and twisted to Tommy.
I love her for this.
And her reasoning for choosing him was just spectacularly insulting to her previous partners. She essentially declared Tommy to be an Aiden 2.0.
Which is so unbelievably funny because Aiden was sitting right there.
Right there.
She essentially looked at a man she used to be coupled up with and said, I found the upgraded software version of you, and his kissing mechanics are far superior.
The absolute shade of it all.
Aiden looked like he swallowed a lemon. But Tommy really does seem like a grounding presence. Sarah Destiny described Jasmine as having ditzy fairy energy, and Tommy seems like the kind of solid, calm guy who can anchor her without stifling her.
Jasmine moves through this villa like a plastic bag caught in a gentle breeze. She goes wherever the wind blows, but right now, it blew her to a massive upgrade.
Good for her.
But the undeniable star of the smooth recouplings was Lorenzo. Lorenzo twists to Julia and the juxtaposition of their entrance. I will be thinking about it on my deathbed.
It is instantly iconic. Snark Squad, if you haven't seen the clip, pause this audio, go to Twitter, and search for it right now.
Lorenzo executes his solo walk. And in true Lorenzo fashion, he looks incredibly awkward. He's fidgeting, he's not making direct eye contact with anyone, he's kind of glancing at the wooden decking like he's looking for loose change.
It was so awkward.
He reaches a spot by the fire pit, pauses for the mandatory 2 seconds, and then out comes Julia.
And she didn't just walk out.
Yeah.
She didn't stroll, she strutted.
Yes, she did.
She delivered a full-on, aggressive Milan Fashion Week catwalk down the path. The face card was absolutely lethal. She was serving pure, intimidating supermodel attitude, while Lorenzo is standing next to her, looking like a guy who accidentally wandered onto a runway while looking for the restroom.
It was the most awkwardly compatible dynamic I have ever witnessed. They are phenomenally mismatched in presentation, but perfectly matched in energy.
Wait, how so?
Julia is the only girl in that villa who knows how to make Lorenzo anxious in a productive way. She challenges his intellect, she calls out his nonsense, and it forces him to actually focus.
Oh, I see that.
The Reddit reaction to Lorenzo's behavior pattern was frighteningly accurate. Someone commented, Lorenzo is me when my ADHD kicks in and I pick up a new hyperfixation hobby. I buy all the gear, I get obsessed for exactly 2 weeks, and then I abandon it completely to look for a new hobby. Except Lorenzo's hobbies are women.
That is the most accurate psychological profile of a reality star I've ever heard. Think about his quote from last week. Min's sandwich again. He just gets bored so easily.
Exactly.
But for right now, I am thrilled they found each other. It was a lovely comedic palate cleanser before the producers dragged us back into the mud with the rest of the couples.
Which brings us to the loyal but highly suspicious category of the evening. Lola and Sean, affectionately known as Fitzy.
Lola was operating with supreme confidence. Maya literally said to her, you guys are basically married at this point. And Lola didn't even blink.
Yep. She was unbothered.
And to his credit, Sean actually stayed fiercely loyal. He even revealed during his speech that he slept outside on the daybeds for 3 straight nights and got devoured by mosquitoes just to physically remove himself from temptation. That is dedication to the bit.
I mean, sure, Lola and Sean are fine. They are the strongest closed-off couple in the villa, but from a purely entertainment standpoint, they give us absolutely nothing. They are the beige paint of the villa.
They are a little boring, yeah.
But you know who isn't beige? You know who is painted in neon red flags? Micah and Samraj.
Oh, boy. So Micah stays loyal. She gives this very sweet, earnest speech about how absence makes the heart grow fonder, and she's putting all our eggs in the Samraj basket. Samraj executes his solo walk, the tension builds, but he comes out alone. He stayed loyal too.
Yeah.
But there's a massive, glaring catch.
A catch the size of a billboard. Yeah. Samraj is hiding a dirty daytime secret.
Yes, he is.
While Lola and Sean are having their cute little reunion, Micah casually turns to Samraj, just making conversation, and asks, so where did you sleep in Casa?
And his micro-expressions gave him away instantly. He got so defensive, so fast.
Yeah.
His entire body language shifted. He crossed his arms, he guarded up, and he just muttered this clipped little, we'll talk about it later.
That phrase right there, we'll talk about it later. That is the universal translated code for, I did something incredibly shady, I know I am guilty, and I absolutely refuse to get yelled at in front of Maya Jama and the national television cameras. Yeah. Because we all saw the footage. We know exactly what he did. He kissed Martha. Not in a challenge, not during a game of truth or dare. Out of nowhere, in broad daylight while the sun was shining, he just leaned in and kissed her.
I know. I'm trying to channel my optimistic energy and hope that Samraj just got caught up in the moment and is now genuinely remorseful and wants to focus on Micah. But that kiss is a ticking time bomb buried under the fire pit.
I smell blood in the water. Samraj is sitting there with a smug little look on his face, genuinely believing he pulled off the perfect crime because he walked back into the main villa single, but he is severely underestimating the cruelty of the producers.
They never let anything slide.
Movie night is looming on the horizon, and when they dim the lights and roll that 4K color-corrected footage of him swapping spit with Martha on the daybed, Micah's gonna spontaneously combust. He got off way too easy tonight, but his reckoning is coming.
Which provides the perfect transition into the absolute chaos of the night. The heavy hitters, the heartbreak, the screaming matches, the absolute catastrophic fallout. Because while Samraj temporarily escaped the fire pit confrontation, Kavan absolutely did not.
Let's dissect the Kavan, Jasmine, and Charleen disaster. Because this sequence wasn't just reality TV, it was high cinema.
Jasmine stands up when it's her turn. She delivers this speech about choosing to stay loyal, but she heavily, deliberately sprinkles in the fact that she still really likes Jordan and that he's her type to a T.
A very hedged bet.
Exactly. But she officially decides to stay single, hoping Kavan comes back alone so she has options.
Which he does not. Kavan does the solo walk. He steps into the fire pit area, pauses, and immediately looks down at his shoes.
The ultimate tell.
That is the universal physiological tell. The second a man refuses to make eye contact with his partner during a recoupling, with absolute certainty that a bombshell is walking out behind him. And right on cue, out struts Charleen.
Jasmine's face dropped. She was fuming. The tension radiating off that fire pit was thick enough to cut with one of our dental scalpels.
It was suffocating.
Kavan tries to immediately launch into defense mode, using all the classic buzzwords. He needed to be himself. He needed to explore the connection. He felt like he couldn't be happy before. But Jasmine was completely unreceptive, and interestingly, neither was Micah.
Right.
Micah suddenly found her voice and told Kavan to his face that he had lost the plot.
Micah needs to respectfully sit down and manage her own household. She had significantly more vim and aggression for Kavan's situation than she did for her own shady partner.
That's a good point.
But the true comedic star of this confrontation wasn't even in the love triangle. It was the sibling interference. Aiden, Kavan's brother, is sitting there listening to the girls verbally eviscerate Kavan, and he decides, in his infinite wisdom, to step in and defend him.
He literally leans forward and starts saying, hey, maybe you guys can calm down and have this conversation in private later. Like he's a bouncer at a nightclub trying to break up a scuffle near the VIP section.
And Maya Jama, our undisputed queen, our savior, the master of ceremonies, hilariously and ruthlessly shuts him down.
It was so good.
She doesn't even look at him fully. She just holds up a hand and tells him, no, that tea will be spilled today. Kavan, answer the question at the fire pit.
The internet was screaming. Reddit was flooded with comments like, Maya telling Aiden to shut up, injected directly into my veins. It was incredible hosting.
We do not need siblings on this show acting like PR managers or bodyguards. Let the man defend his own terrible choices.
It was a masterclass in hosting. She kept the pressure exactly where it needed to be. So Jasmine demands to know, right then and there, in front of everyone, did you kiss outside of challenges? Did you share a bed? And Kavan hesitates.
You can see his brain doing the calculus, realizing he has no way out. He clearly didn't want to admit it in front of the firing squad.
Because he knows he's dead to rights, he's trapped. Eventually he mumbles an admission, and poor Charleen is just standing next to him looking incredibly uncomfortable, like she is actively praying for the wooden decking to open up and swallow her whole.
Oh, she looked miserable.
See, I have to defend Jasmine's emotional reaction here. Regardless of her scheming with Jordan, I think it genuinely, fundamentally hurts to see someone you had deep feelings for walk in holding hands with someone else, especially when she made the active, difficult choice to sleep alone on the daybeds and hold back her physical affection with Jordan. She wanted to do things the right way.
Okay, let me counter your optimistic energy with some cold, cynical energy facts.
Go ahead.
Was she really that hurt by the betrayal of loyalty, or was she just executing a rapid PR pivot to save her own narrative?
What do you mean?
Because the second Kavan admitted to the kiss, Jasmine's speech pivoted with whiplash-inducing speed. Suddenly, the tears stopped, and she was loudly reminding everyone, well, Jordan is my type to a T anyway. We just move respectfully. I have options. She was opening that door so fast, the hinges completely snapped off.
She was in shock. She was trying to save face in front of millions of people.
She was mad she got outplayed in the game of reality TV chess by a 21-year-old. That is the unvarnished truth.
No.
She thought she was the mastermind. She let a younger, less experienced guy twist her brain into knots, and she ended up standing there single and embarrassed while he brought back a shiny new influencer. It was a massive, catastrophic hit to her ego, not her heart.
We are going to have to agree to disagree on her motives. Let's move to a couple that actually provided a glimmer of hope and a happy ending, even if you think it might be temporary.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ellie and Finley.
Ah, yes. The tragedy of the orange makeup tears.
Snark Squad, Ellie was so incredibly emotional. Both of them chose to stay loyal. Finley does the solo walk, turns the corner, sees Ellie standing there single waiting for him, and he is ecstatic. He was cheesing so hard his face looked like it hurt. And Ellie was crying these deep, heaving, happy tears. But her foundation matching was, well, it was a choice.
A choice that the high-definition cameras did not forgive. Reddit noticed immediately. Someone posted, "Did anyone else spot Ellie's tear streak cutting through the foundation? Her natural skin color underneath is so much nicer than that aggressive orange." It was a tragic makeup malfunction, but undeniably a beautiful, authentic, emotional moment. Against all odds, they really look like the strongest winners right now.
They really do. When she gave her speech, she said he brought out a softer, more vulnerable side of her, that she stopped shouting all the time and is genuinely so much happier. It felt like a real earned rom-com moment.
A beautiful rom-com that is about to abruptly transition into a psychological horror movie at the movie night premiere. Because Finley is not the innocent, reformed romantic he's pretending to be.
You really think it's that bad?
I know it. We all saw the footage. He kissed a dark-haired girl in Casa Amor.
Oh, I know.
Yes. The defenders on Twitter clarified that he pulled back quickly, and it wasn't a long, totally mutual makeout session. But in the villa, context doesn't matter. The optics are terrible.
That is true.
When the producers isolate that clip and play it on a massive screen, Ellie's newfound, soft, vulnerable side is going to evaporate into thin air, and the shouting will commence with a vengeance. This entire happy reunion is a house of cards built on an omission of truth.
Oh, I hope they survive it. I genuinely want them to make it. But let's gird our loins and talk about the absolute tragedy of the night, the final couple, the climax of the episode, Simba and Angelista. I had my hands over my eyes for this entire sequence.
It was a masterclass in sustained delusion, culminating in absolute heartbreak. Let's set the stage properly. Angelista stands up. She is the final girl to go. She confidently, almost arrogantly, claims that despite their turbulent red flag-filled past, they were currently in a very good space.
And the editor's choice to immediately cut to the reaction shots of the OG boys who had just returned from Casa. Priceless.
Incredible editing.
They were staring at her in utter silent shock. They couldn't even look her in the eye because they knew exactly how feral Simba had been acting in that other villa.
Valerie's review nailed the psychology of this moment. The sheer audacity of Angelista to stand there and publicly claim they were in a good space when Simba has treated her poorly, dismissively, and disrespectfully from day one.
It's sad.
He did absolutely nothing to earn that level of blind loyalty. But she stubbornly stuck by him, convincing herself that she was the one who could change him. So she stands there, waiting for her reward.
And out comes Simba. He does his solo walk. And for a second, just a split second, because I'm hopelessly optimistic, I thought maybe he stayed loyal. Maybe he actually had an epiphany and realized what he had.
Never, ever trust a reality TV man who looks at the ground during a recoupling walk. It is the ultimate guilty tell. He pauses, the silence stretches, and out walks Mara.
Oh, it's awful.
And let's be completely objective here. Mara is stunning. She looked phenomenal. Her catwalk was lethal. Her confidence was sky high. And Angelista was visibly shook to her very core. You could see the realization wash over her face.
I am profoundly heartbroken for Angelista, but I am filled with rage towards Simba. Because just the night before this recoupling, he was lying in bed in Casa Amor doing this whole elaborate fake crying routine.
Ugh, oh, I just miss Angelista so much. I keep thinking about Angie. I feel so bad. Crocodile tears. He was trying to plant the seeds for a sympathetic redemption arc, and it completely backfired.
It was 100% performative guilt. He was playing up to the cameras, trying to give the audience at home the conflicted, tortured soul narrative he thought they wanted to see.
Exactly.
But Queenie's review pointed out the blatant hypocrisy perfectly. What is the logical point of aggressively pursuing Mara all day, kissing her, trying to convince her to share your bed, just to suddenly cry about Angie when the lights go out? It was emotional manipulation to preserve his own image.
It was so cruel to Angelista. She has put up with so much nonsense from him. She's defended him to the other girls, and this is how he repays her.
Look, I feel empathy for her pain. I really do. Being publicly embarrassed on television is awful. But as analytical viewers, we have to hold her accountable for her own choices, too.
I mean, I guess. Angelista has been a permanent resident of Delulu Land. She aggressively ignored every single blazing red flag. Simba was moving mad in the main villa, disrespecting her right in front of her face, before Casa Amor even started. What on earth made her deduce that he was going to magically transform into a loyal, steadfast partner when surrounded by a half-dozen new girls actively trying to seduce him?
She wanted to believe the best in him. She saw his potential.
She wanted to believe a fantasy she invented in her own head. Simba have the emotional regulation, the impulse control, and the foresight of a 14-year-old boy.
That is so true.
Someone on Reddit literally diagnosed him with that, and it is the truest statement of the season. He operates purely on the id. He acts on raw impulse, immediately regrets it 5 minutes later when he faces minor consequences, cries to the boys for validation, and then repeats the exact same behavior the next day. He lacks the capacity to think critically before he acts. And Angelista is just tragic collateral damage in his chaotic, televised coming-of-age story.
It's just devastating to watch. Honestly, I think she needs to pack her bags, hold her head high, save whatever face she has left, and leave the villa on her own terms. Because there is no coming back from that level of public humiliation.
Exactly. Rise from the ashes of this terrible decision and go home, sis. Your dignity is worth more than a brand deal.
Okay, let's take a collective deep breath. Let's take a long sip of our spritzers. We need to shift gears, because it is time to hand out some hardware.
Yes.
Snark Squad, now that the dust is somewhat settled on the fire pit, we are officially declaring the Smart Side graft of the day. We are analyzing who put in the actual romantic effort and who completely face-planted.
Let's start with the positive reinforcement, most effort. Who put in the work, successfully executed their strategic vision, and deserves the crown for playing the game flawlessly.
For me, the crown has to go to Jasmine. She flawlessly, clinically upgraded her situation without generating a single drop of unnecessary drama.
It was very smooth.
She assessed the Casa boys, realized Tommy was exactly what she wanted, a calmer, better kissing version of Aiden, and she just smoothly executed the transition. No tears, no screaming matches, no performative guilt, just a clean, efficient upgrade. She even had the emotional maturity to laugh and clap when Lorenzo brought back a new girl. That is elite, unbothered energy.
I deeply respect the Jasmine pick. It was a highly efficient, bloodless coup, but my most effort award has to go to Julia. Because she didn't just walk into that villa, she arrived.
The catwalk was everything.
The catwalk changed the trajectory of the season. She understood the exact assignment of a Casa Amor bombshell. You don't just sneak into the main villa quietly, hoping not to step on toes. You stomp down that wooden decking, you serve face, you assert dominance, and you let every single OG girl know that you are the main character now.
Totally.
She put maximum unapologetic effort into that entrance. And more importantly, she has managed to completely captivate Lorenzo, a man whose attention span usually expires in roughly 48 hours. She is putting in the psychological work to keep him engaged, and I applaud her hustle.
I cannot argue with the power of the catwalk. It was legendary television. But on the flip side, we have to hold someone accountable. We have to award whoever fumbled the bag the hardest. And I think we are completely 100% unanimous on this one.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. The biggest fumble of the season, perhaps in the entire modern history of Love Island, goes to Priya.
Priya. Why did you do this to yourself?
Let's break down the sheer mathematical magnitude of this fumble. She had Carlos, a handsome guy who was genuinely interested in her, who treated her with respect, and who was sitting right there waiting for her.
He was right there.
Choosing him was a safe, secure ticket to stay in the villa, build a genuine connection, and coast to the finals. Instead, what does she do? She actively chooses Jordan.
A guy who has openly, repeatedly, and aggressively told multiple other people in the villa that he does not find her physically attractive.
He literally views her as a convenient waiting room until Jasmine is available to date him. And Priya knows this. She has the data. But she is so deeply obsessed with climbing the villa's social hierarchy, so desperate to appease Jasmine and secure this messy, camera-grabbing love triangle storyline, that she picked a guy who actively dislikes her. She fumbled a real, tangible connection for a fake PR stunt. It is the absolute worst strategic move of the season.
It is self-sabotage on a cellular level.
Okay.
He is going to be dumped from the island the second the producers open up a public vote, all because she wanted to play a Machiavellian game she's simply not smart enough to win?
Which perfectly sets up our next analysis. Since Priya is treating this romantic experience like a corporate ladder, let's treat the Islanders like our employees. It is time for the Villa Performance Review. We are giving out annual work evaluations based strictly on their execution in the villa.
This is my favorite thing we do. Let's start with Employee of the Week, who is exceeding all expectations, hitting their KPIs and securing their bonus.
Once again, it has to be Jasmine. She is the ideal corporate employee. She comes into the office, assesses the current market conditions, identifies a superior opportunity with Tommy, and makes the lateral career move seamlessly, completely unbothered by office politics.
Like a very professional.
She found a better kisser, secured her position, and even managed to maintain a positive professional working relationship with her ex-partner Lorenzo by laughing at his new girl's entrance.
Stellar performance?
This exceeds expectations. 5 stars.
She really is thriving in a high-stress workplace environment. Now, for the painful one, needs improvement. Who is currently failing and being placed on a mandatory performance improvement plan?
Simba. His performance metrics are abysmal.
They are so incredibly bad, he's a liability.
Let's review his HR file. He lacks basic strategic foresight. He cannot anticipate the long-term consequences of his short-term actions. He engages in unauthorized, risky activities with competing branches, meaning Mara, and then lies in the break room crying over the loyal employee he is actively betraying. Furthermore, he creates a hostile work environment by clashing aggressively with the Casa girls the second they reject his advances. He is a walking, talking HR violation who costs the company money.
He really is. He needs a mandatory multi-day training seminar on emotional intelligence and impulse control immediately. But let's look at the flip side. Let's talk about the biggest overachiever, who is doing way more than the job description requires and somehow succeeding against all odds.
It has to be Jordan. Think about the masterful, albeit completely sociopathic manipulation he has pulled off over the last few days.
It's terrifyingly true. He managed to secure a spot in the main villa by completely charming Priya, feeding her just enough ambiguous corporate-speak breadcrumbs to make her think she has a fighting chance, while simultaneously keeping Jasmine completely on the hook from an entirely separate geographic location.
He is managing 2 massive accounts at once with 0 actual capital. He manipulated Priya into bringing him back to the main office, and the literal second he walked through the door, Jasmine basically gave a public speech declaring her unwavering loyalty to him.
I still can't believe it.
He overachieved, he secured the bag, and he's now sitting pretty on the day bids while 2 women destroy their own reputations fighting over him. From an ethical standpoint, it's despicable. But from a purely cutthroat performance standpoint, it's an A-plus execution.
It hurts my soul because your logic is flawless. Okay, final category in the evaluation. Most likely to be fired. Who is getting their keycard deactivated and being escorted out of the building by security?
It's a genuine toss-up between Priya and Kavan, and honestly, I could debate the merits of firing either of them for hours.
Let's spiral on this. I firmly believe it's Priya. Her position has become redundant. She is self-sabotaging on a level we haven't seen in seasons. The audience at home can see right through her performative HR-speak justifications. She doesn't have a solid romantic connection to root for. She alienated the one guy who liked her, and Jordan is going to drop her for Jasmine within 48 business hours. She's a dead weight to the narrative. Her position is being eliminated.
You make a highly compelling, data-driven case. But consider the emotional volatility of the consumer base. Priya is annoying, yes. But Kavan committed the ultimate reality TV sin. He broke the heart of a beloved, tragic figure on camera.
That's true.
Jasmine might be playing a manipulative game behind the scenes, but the audience is buying her tears at face value. The second the public gets their hands on a voting app, they're going to enact swift, brutal vengeance on Kavan for making the fan favorite cry. He is public enemy number 1 right now. He is getting fired by the shareholders.
That's a profound point. The public love to avenge a broken heart, even if the victim is highly questionable. Speaking of corporate dynamics, let's take this a step further. Since we already traumatized the Snark Squad by breaking down our own dental clinic nightmares, let's assign normal, soul-crushing 9-to-5 careers to these chaotic islanders based solely on their personality profiles.
Oh, this is where I shine. Let's start with the most glaringly obvious one, Priya.
Human resources, without a shadow of a doubt.
She is the living, breathing embodiment of a corporate HR department. She speaks entirely in sanitized jargon, like, I want to explore this connection, I think this is a good step for the villa culture, I need to analyze where my head is at. She is constantly trying to manage optics and mitigate liability.
Constantly.
She tries to mediate interpersonal conflicts that she literally incited, and she is absolutely the person sending passive-aggressive company-wide emails about someone leaving fish in the break room microwave.
She totally does. Just a friendly reminder, team, please respect the communal fridge space. It's so painfully accurate. Okay, what about Lorenzo? What is his real-world job?
Lorenzo is a serial freelancer, or a guy who starts a highly niche, expensive hobby business every 2 weeks and then abandons it the second it gets hard.
Yes. He's the guy who watches one YouTube tutorial, buys $3,000 worth of imported leatherworking tools, makes exactly half of a wallet, gets bored, and then decides he's actually going to become a professional sponsored drone racer.
Exactly. He abandons complex projects the exact same way he abandons emotional connections. Min's and sandwich again. He's always looking for the dopamine hit of the next shiny thing, and the second it requires sustained long-term effort or actual skill, he pivots. He is probably drafting his 5th unfunded Kickstarter campaign right now.
That is hilarious and tragic. Okay, last one. Aiden, Kavan's brother, the uninvited bodyguard.
Aiden is that incredibly annoying middle manager who always, without fail, chimes in during high-stakes meetings when absolutely no one asked him to speak.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Let's circle back to that, actually. It's playing devil's advocate here to piggyback on what you said.
He's the guy who hits reply all to a company-wide memo just to say noted. When Maya Jama told him to be quiet at the fire pit, that was the emotional equivalent of the CEO finally hitting the mute button on his microphone during a chaotic Zoom call. Every single person in the office silently rejoiced. He tries to manage people who aren't even in his department, like trying to boss around Kavan's love life. Just stay in your lane and finish your own spreadsheets, Aiden. I am actually crying. That is so spot on. I can vividly see him wearing a branded quarter-zip fleece right now. Okay, we have diagnosed their flaws, we have assigned them careers, now we need to look to the future. The dust has settled on Casa Amor, but the fallout is just beginning. What are our predictions for tomorrow night?
I will start with a confident prediction based on historical precedent. We have talked about the dark cloud of movie night looming over the villa. I confidently predict that movie night is going to cause the absolute, catastrophic, unrecoverable downfall of Samraj and Finley.
Oh, I agree, 100%. It's a guarantee.
They are sitting by the pool right now, smiling, sipping their iced coffees, genuinely thinking they got away with murder because they managed to come back to the main villa single. But the producers are sitting in the editing bay with 4K multi-angle footage of Samraj kissing Martha in broad daylight and Finley locking lips with that dark-haired girl. The second that footage rolls on the big screen, Micah and Ellie are going to unleash hellfire. The trust will be shattered. Those couples will not survive the weekend. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Okay, my confident prediction is that Jasmine and Jordan are going to officially couple up before the week is out. Priya is going to be left completely out in the cold, holding the bag she fumbled, and Jordan is going to gaslight her by pretending he never even liked her in the first place.
Which leads perfectly into my completely unhinged prediction.
Oh, give it to me. I love an unhinged theory.
We all assume Jasmine is going for Jordan, but my unhinged galaxy brain prediction, Jasmine and Lorenzo are somehow going to end up getting back together.
What? Be serious right now. Lorenzo is completely obsessed with Julia.
For now, but remember my serial freelancer analogy. He gets bored in exactly 2 weeks. Once the shiny supermodel newness of Julia wears off and she demands actual emotional depth from him, he will panic. And when Jasmine realizes Jordan is actually kind of hollow and boring, they are going to gravitate back to each other, not out of deep love, but out of sheer convenience, shared trauma, and spite toward their exes. It makes zero logical sense, which is exactly why it is guaranteed to happen on Love Island.
That is truly unhinged. I don't see the vision, but I respect the absolute chaos of the theory. Now, who is an islander you think is about to step out of the shadows and shine?
Mara.
Oh, completely agree. No notes.
She is breathtakingly stunning. The face card is immaculate, the styling is incredible, the confidence is lethal. Now that she has successfully crossed over from Casa into the main villa, the other OG boys are going to wake up from their stupor. They're going to look around, realize Simba is a walking, crying disaster, and realize they actually want to get to know her. Simba fundamentally lacks the maturity to handle a woman of that magnitude, and she is going to realize she needs an upgrade within 24 hours. She is about to steal the main character energy.
I am so ready for her to thrive. She's going to completely outgrow Simba by tomorrow afternoon. And finally, what couple do we think is currently living on borrowed time?
We have said it a million times tonight, but it bears repeating for the record. Priya and Jordan.
The timer isn't just at 0. The alarm is actively ringing.
The building is on fire. Jordan is going to drop her for Jasmine the literal second he gets a green light from Jasmine. He's using Priya as a human shield to stay in the villa, purely for survival. It's cruel, it's blatantly obvious to everyone except Priya, and it's going to end in explosive tears. Probably Priya's tears, right before she drafts a strongly worded email to the producers about a hostile work environment.
The accuracy is painful. It is going to be a spectacular disaster.
And we will be right here, armed with fresh gin spritzers, ready to analyze the wreckage.
Yes, we will. Snark Squad, we want to hear your brilliant, chaotic minds.
Yeah.
We are turning the conversation over to you now. Head over to our comments, our DMs, wherever you normally yell at us, and answer these questions. Number 1, based on our real job segment, what career would you choose if you could start over completely? If you could leave the spreadsheets or the dental tools behind, what are you pivoting to?
Number 2, which islander do you genuinely think would survive working a normal, soul-crushing 9-to-5 corporate job? My money is on Jasmine, just peacefully floating through the cubicles, unbothered by the quarterly reports.
And most importantly, number 3, what should we order for dinner right now? The recording is officially done, the hunger is reaching critical levels, and we need takeout recommendations. Thank you so incredibly much for listening and surviving this recap with us. We love you. Please remember to subscribe, leave us a 5-star review if you enjoyed the chaos, and share this breakdown with another messy friend who loves villa drama as much as we do.
And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over while you wait for tomorrow's episode. It makes you wonder. In a world where every single connection is gamified, monitored by cameras, and broadcast for public consumption, is it even possible to form a genuine romantic bond anymore? Or are we all just playing our own versions of Priya's corporate ladder climb, managing our optics and PR instead of actually managing our hearts?
Stay flirty, stay fabulous, and we'll see you on the Snark side.